thank you very much for joining us today for our Catalyst Grants webinar. I'm Katie. I'm the Research and Involvement Manager at Cardiomyopathy UK. So to outline what I'm planning to cover in the first part of this before we come to the Q&A, I just was going to do a little bit of an introduction to the charity, our research journey, and then the main event, the thing that you're here to hear about, is our Catalyst grants. I'm also going to talk about the kind of PPI piece that we're kind of adding into this, which we're calling our Catalyst Connections. So I'll come to that. I'm going to try my best to cover everything, but that's what the Q&A is for at the end. If you do have any questions, please do. Like I said, there are various routes you can try in Teams, and we'll just have to see what works. Okay. Ooh. So, just to introduce Cardiomyopathy UK, so some of you might know a lot about the charity, some of you may not be familiar, so I just wanted to give a bit of an overview of what we do. So we're here for everyone affected by cardiomyopathy, and actually that's just a bit of charity speak there. Affected by, we mean people who have the condition, but also those people who care about them, so parents of children with cardiomyopathy or family members or partners of people with cardiomyopathy. And our vision is that everyone with cardiomyopathy should be able to live a long and fulfilling life. And then just below here, this is just some of the things that we do. So we provide information. We have a huge wealth of information online about the different types of cardiomyopathy, the treatments and services available. We provide support for people affected by cardiomyopathy. So we have a nurse-led helpline, we have support groups, we offer peer support. We provide education for healthcare professionals. We have a huge online resource for those people. And my colleagues last week were involved in an event, a live event for healthcare professionals to learn about working with people affected by cardiomyopathy. We campaign for people to have access to treatment and services. And then finally, research. I've put it at the bottom of the list, and that's not because it's not important. It's more that it's kind of the more recent thing that we're doing, and that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. Ooh. I'm trying to change my slide, and it's being funny. There we go. Ooh. Okay. So I said I was going to talk about our research journey, and we have been on a journey as a charity. So we've been around for more than 35 years. And historically, we were an information and support charity, but we're not going to stop doing any of that important work that I've just talked about, but we are moving in the direction of also being a medical research charity. And these bullet points are roughly in chronological order of our journey into becoming a research charity. So in recent years, we've been supporting research, so offering advice to researchers, connecting you with people affected by cardiomyopathy. Then we've been taking a more active role in big projects. So, for example, one of our partnerships is with the British Heart Foundation funded Cure Heart project, which is developing genetic therapies for inherited cardiomyopathies. Our research priorities and our research network I'll come to because I've actually got separate slides for those later, so I'll tell you a bit more about those. And then finally, funding research. This is the newest activity for the charity. We're really excited about it. It's why you're here today. It's a really important step for us, and we are aiming to implement a very rigorous process in line with the Association of Medical Research Charities guidance. So hopefully this time next year, we'll be funding some of you, but we will also be recognised as an official medical research charity. So coming on to our research priorities now as a charity. So I wanted to talk about our priority setting partnership with the James Lind Alliance. And I will just give an aside here in case you're wondering who James Lind is. He's credited with the first clinical trial. So he gave lemons to sailors to prevent scurvy, and that's why this organisation is named after him. And the James Lind Alliance work with charities like us, and they have been doing so for, I think, about 20 years. And it's a very rigorous and well-established process to involve people with lived experience of a health condition and healthcare professionals to set the research agenda. So in our particular partnership with the James Lind Alliance, over 1,000 people took part. The process involves 2 surveys and a final workshop to decide the top 10. So we're a charity. We're funded by donations. We have to make sure that in our research journey, we are supporting research that's meaningful to our community. And that's why we did this. So you can find out more about the Priority Setting Partnership on our website. And this photo I've put on the slide here, this is Alison, our Vice President, and one of my colleagues, Laura, actually presenting the results of our Priority Setting Partnership at the British Cardiovascular Society conference last year. So coming on to our top 10 priorities, I'm not going to read them out, and I'm not sure this is the best way to present them, but I couldn't think what else to do that was better. So, but if you have a look at our website, it's Future Research, or you can scan the QR code. You can find out, you can read all of the priorities, you can find more information about the process. So I will say, without reading them out, you can see they're quite diverse. The #1 priority was around mental health, but we've also got screening, whether treatment should be tailored, and then you can read the rest of them for yourselves. So it's a very diverse list. And I also wanted to acknowledge that, as I said, we followed this process by with the James Lind Alliance, but on a different day with a different group of people, we might have ended up with a different top 10 or a different order of the top 10. So please do have a look at our website, have a look at the top 10, but also have a look at the other things that came up. We're not gonna say we're only going to support research that is in the top 10. There are other priorities that came up for our community as well. So while I'm talking about this, I just also wanted to quickly touch on our research network. So we mean it when we say we want to make sure people affected by cardiomyopathy are at the heart of research. And I've just included this quote here from NHS England. And we, as a charity, fully believe this. For research to be as effective as possible, we need to ensure that people with lived experience are fully involved in the research process from the outset. So as part of our research journey, we've also established our research network. So at the moment, I'll be honest, it's a mailing list. But we have over 700 people affected by cardiomyopathy who have told us they are interested in finding out more and getting involved in research. So what we're doing at the moment is just sending out a monthly newsletter with these 3 things here. So it's opportunities to help shape research through involvement. And I'll come to our Catalyst connections in a minute. Opportunities to take part in research. We want to make sure that people affected by cardiomyopathy have those opportunities if they want to. But we also share news. So we keep an eye here on what's going on in the cardiomyopathy research world. And we share that with our research network because we know they're interested in what's going on. So as part of this, we're also developing research volunteering. So as I said, we've got this big list of over 700 people, but we're also working alongside that to develop a kind of core group of engaged people who want to be a bit more involved with research at the charity. Coming on to our cardiomyopathy, our catalyst connections later. We put out a call for that in a recent newsletter, and over 40 people have said that they would be interested to be involved. So the interest is there, the people are there, and we really want to make sure they are part of this journey that we're on into funding research. So this is why you're here. You want to hear about our Catalyst grants. So as I said, this is a really big deal for the charity. It's our first ever research grant round. We're starting small. So with our Catalyst grants, we're offering up to £25,000 for a duration of up to 2 years. As I said, we're starting small. This is new. We have to find our way. But we really hope that this is still filling an important gap. What we would love is for you to take your Catalyst grant, use it to test new ideas, develop proof of concept studies, or gather data, and then use that to attract further investment from other sources. So the big funders who have millions of pounds. We hope to grow in the future, and I think we have massive potential to do so, but we've got to start somewhere, and so here we are. So I just wanted to outline the timeline. It is on our website, so hopefully you've already come across it. We're open for applications now, which I guess all of you should know because you're here. The deadline is Wednesday, the 9th of July. So we're open for 12 weeks. The review period, we're going for July to September. And I'll be honest, that's not as fast a turnaround as we would like, but we're allowing time for the review process because this is our first time, because we are trying to implement the AMRC best practice to make sure that every application is reviewed by a minimum number of experts. We're not quite sure how this is going to go. So we've got our panel, details are on our website, but we don't know what kind of applications we're going to get. And if the application kind of falls outside the expertise of our panel, we're going to need to go externally, which is why we're allowing a bit more time for review. Just to say that every application will be reviewed both by experts in the field and experts by experience, so people who are affected by cardiomyopathy. Our research grant committee will be meeting in October, and then the decision must be ratified by our board of trustees. So we will be making or announcing the decision in November this year. I've included the very long URL to the page with all of the information. Please do have a look on there. Really important to have a look at the terms and conditions and the guidance that we've produced for applicants, hopefully to help you with your application. And I know some of you have already requested an application form, but yes, you'll find details there. Basically, we're asking you to email us to request an application form. So the Catalyst connections. So this is an idea we're trying for our first grant round. As I said, we really believe that it's important to involve people with lived experience of cardiomyopathy right from the start of research. So this is something we're trying. We are hoping that this will provide an easy way, an opportunity for you to talk through your research, your ideas, and get feedback from people with lived experience of cardiomyopathy. So the link I've included here, again, I know some of you have already expressed an interest in this, but the link will take you to a form, and it basically just asks kind of who you're interested in talking to, the types of cardiomyopathy, the experiences of people. As I said, we've had over 40 people say that they're keen to do this. So we do really hope that we'll be able to match you with some people who will be able to give some helpful insight into your project. In terms of kind of our capacity as a small charity, the idea is that these will be organised and led by you. We will do the matching and we will introduce you to the people, but we would like you to organise and lead on these. But I will say, depending on your experience and our capacity, we might be able to offer a bit more support with this. And please do talk to us about that. And I do want to say it's not a requirement. So the Catalyst connections are completely independent from the grant assessment process. What I will say is we do ask about patient and public involvement on the application form, and all of the applications will be reviewed by people affected by cardiomyopathy. So we're providing you this opportunity. So it might be a good idea to take it up if you think it would be helpful for your application. And then this last slide, just while I've got you here, I just wanted to outline the other support that we as a charity can offer you as researchers. So again, I've got a link to the relevant page on our website. But we're able to provide PPI support more broadly. It doesn't just have to be for this grant round. We can help you find PPI contributors for any research that you're doing. We think it's important for people to be involved, but we also we want to give those opportunities to our community. Likewise, if you would need some help recruiting participants for your study, we can also help you with that. Again, I may have spoken to some of you about this before. If you're applying to funding from somebody else and you're doing research into cardiomyopathy, talk to us. We might be able to provide you with a letter of support to help your application. I talked earlier on about partnering with us. Again, have a look on our website. This is where we can kind of take a bit more of an active role in projects. And then this is just a bit of an add-on bullet point at the end here, just because I wanted to make you aware while you're on the call. We carried out our regular national survey in 2024. And this was the biggest survey we've ever done. We worked with an external organisation called PICA. Over 1,300 people completed the survey, and it was all about diagnosis, treatment, care, and living with cardiomyopathy. So we've got some really, really rich data about that. Obviously, the questions we asked were really to support what we're doing in terms of our campaigning work and our services. But we know that it might also be relevant to some of you. So if you are interested in gaining access to our anonymised survey data, please do get in touch with us. All right, I really hope that was helpful. Thank you so much for joining us today. Really, really appreciate it. As I said, happy to have more in-depth conversations with you. If you just want to get in touch on our email address, research@cardiomyopathy.org, and we'll be happy to talk to you.